Hi guys, and welcome back to our next course. So this course is gonna be towards Instagram. We're gonna attacking and hacking Instagram accounts. We're gonna also search for bugs, go for bug bounty. We're gonna explain everything you need to know about Instagram hacking, how to implement social engineering attacks, because most of the times we're gonna hack the accounts using CE attacks. And I'm gonna explain basically everything you need to know with the technology we have nowadays. So this is the first video and it's going to be theoretical about what should happen, how should happen, and what's expected from you. Because I like to say that when you want to do something, or in that case hack something, it's always a good practice to basically understand what's supposed to be done from you and not just go there, watch some videos and mimic their actions. This is not how you should hack, and this is how hackers in quotes go to prisons, because they do not basically know what's happening beneath the ground. They are just following some instructions, they are doing something malicious, and they end up being in jail. So that's why we are making theoretical videos to explain basically what should happen, how and why, and after that we're gonna make practical videos when we're going to demonstrate everything you need to know about hacking Instagram accounts and finding bugs. And so let's now start. And the first thing I want to explain is basically understanding the application. So no matter what engagement you have, it can be Instagram account, it can be Facebook account, it can be bank account, it can be like the application itself, not the accounts, because when we are targeting the application, we are not targeting the accounts inside, we are attacking the server, the infrastructure, or the web application which is sitting on the infrastructure. So when we are attacking on the infrastructure level, we send packets, we try to evade firewalls, we try to send exploits, find vulnerabilities, send the malicious packets that can do the work for us. On the other hand, when we are basically attacking the web application, we are attacking the web application that is running on the web server on that infrastructure. So there we already bypassed the firewall, but we have to find a way to force the machine to execute commands or to follow our instructions within the web application. And there are a variety of things we can do for that. There can be exploits, we need to send packets, not packets, requests, sorry. We are sending a request and manipulating such data, manipulating the web application to call back to us. Such example can be SQL injection. With the SQL injection, we are sending a SQL query in a post method of some field, and we are working directly with the database of that web application. So without having the ID and the password for the database, we are working with that database with the web application. So that's a nice example how we can force such malicious actions. By sending different requests, by sending different parameters, we can implement different attacks, and there are vulnerabilities just for web application. So that's why the penetration testing is divided in two parts. We have network and web application. So in the network we are attacking firewall services and so on. With the web application we are attacking the web application with some kind of parameters, queries, you can call it whatever you want. We can remote upload file which can grant us a reverse shell, we can upload a worm there, we can basically just, there are a variety of things that we can do. And then we have the third option for hacking, which is basically social engineering, which means hacking people. So basically we have three types. We have attacking the server, attacking the web application, and attacking the people or the account inside. And nowadays systems are getting more and more secure, and it's being harder and harder to hack into some server. The developers are doing their job correctly, they are securing the application, and the network administrator and system administrator are doing their job correctly as well, securing the whole infrastructure, setting up the firewall rules, and just setting up everything they need in order to set this service to operate. So nowadays it's easier to hack people because people are getting more stupid. The technology is getting bigger and faster and more secure, but the people are getting more stupid, more dumber, and so on. Basically, nowadays most of the attacks are towards human being, and human being can be really wide, can be manipulated, while the machine, it's really hard to manipulate the machine since it's following instructions. Basically, the machine is being told, is being programmed to do that and that and that and that, and that's all it does. And when combining a lot of machines with different functionality, we have a whole network, secured and stable network. So basically, imagine we have a network, there are multiple firewalls, multiple machines, multiple servers, and if everything is set up correctly, like one firewall is gonna watch only for that, the other one is gonna watch only for that. See, the thing itself are simple and are stupid, but they are working and they are doing their best. So the firewall just knows how to basically bypass, allow or disallow traffic, allow a specific port, disallow another, disallow different IPs and so on. So basically firewall is doing just that. So you just can't go and manipulate firewall that easy. You need to spoof the firewall that is not you, to bypass the firewall, to send special packets. So it's really not that easy job. On the other hand, the web application, basically all the input fields, all the fields for register, for firewall port, for let's say browsing, all that fields, all that functionalities are coded with a lot of security checks, and basically security checks is expecting what can occur. Well, one example of security check is when we basically upload an image. So the system knows it's an image, but if there is no security checks, we can upload a PHP file and therefore execute that PHP file if we know that where it is. So basically, that's an example of security checks. By implementing security checks, the application is gonna say, hey, I have coded that to pass only JPG images, this is a PHP, sorry, I cannot upload that file. And of course there are techniques for bypassing even that, but there's no 100% guarantee in nothing. So we can manipulate machines, sure we can, we do that all the times, but it's been harder and harder nowadays. And that's why most of the attacks are toward the people, because it's more easy. And when we are talking about huge corporations like Facebook and Instagram, keep in mind that they have top developers, they have top security guys, and these applications are really secured. So the more easy way to hack someone's account is to use social engineering. But now let's get back to understanding the application. So before you do anything, you should understand what is going on. So let's take a look in our case for Instagram. We have to open the page. We have to try any single directory right there. We have to try any single opportunity for changing something. It can be changing different parameters. Let's say if we can manipulate parameters in the URL, this can be vulnerability. So we can go there, try to, let's say, upload a file. Let's see if we can upload something bad. Therefore, browse deeper and deeper and deeper. See how the stories are working. See how the images are uploaded. Basically, see anything you can about that web application. And of course, then we need to download the mobile version, and we're gonna start the same procedure from there, because basically they have the same functionality, but they are running different instances. They can be on the same server, but they are running different instances. So we cannot run the website, we cannot open the website in our Chrome of our iPhone or Android phone. Yes, we can, but it's not going to work as expected and as it should if we download the application. So from the website, right from my PC, I can only browse and navigate throughout the web application. But I'm gonna need to download or install on my phone, so I can start doing these things, the whole browsing procedure from the application inside. Because there can be vulnerability in the application where it's not on the website, and the opposite. So this is the first thing that we need to browse anywhere and gather as much information as possible. Therefore, we need to try everything. So basically, as I said, try almost anything you have on your mind. It can be uploading a file instead of a picture. It can be changing a parameter into URL. It can be changing parameter with the post method. It can be using post methods where we cannot use post methods, and so on. So browse anything, try anything, and therefore see where there could occur vulnerabilities. So basically, this is the part when we are separating. So this is the part when we are taking the information gathered before and use that information in order to think and basically analyze where can occur vulnerabilities. And as I said, these vulnerabilities can be anywhere. They can be on the website, they can be on the application on your Android phone or iPhone, there can be just anywhere. So we need to seek for vulnerabilities, and vulnerability can be anything. So the next step is to see where we can implement CE attacks if needed. So if we didn't manage to find any vulnerability that can help us hack accounts or become a bug bounty hunter, we need to start thinking about implementing CE attacks. So here we need to gather as much information as possible against the CE attacks. We have to choose a framework, or we can code everything by manual. So many of the guys and many of the good hackers are not using frameworks like set toolkit. They are coding everything manual. They are copying the HTML of the page, they are copying the CSS of the page, so it looks really exactly the same. And therefore they just basically make some PHP functionality about sending what you have entered. So we can see from here that there is the option to see where we can implement CE attacks. And this is all for manual enumeration. So all these things are about manual enumeration. We are manually enumerating where there can be vulnerabilities, where we can implement CE attacks, to who, and so on. So about the security and hacking Instagram, I hope you understand. Now let's talk about hacking someone's account. So first we need a target, and the second thing that we need is a permission. So do not hack without a permission, because it's illegal, and if you get caught, Instagram has the full rights to force you to jail. So do not hack anything without permission, and this basically applies to any step into the previous one. So even trying for vulnerabilities require a permission. Well, if you're a bounty hunter, it's always good to use some kind of a VPN and some kind of a fake accounts, but we're just gonna get that in a second. So now we have to choose a target. So as I said before, social engineering attacks are towards people. They are not towards the machine. They are not towards the web application. They have nothing to do with firewall. They have nothing to do with different requesting parameters. They are attack towards people. These attacks do not require much technical skills, but do require really creativity and open mind and thinking. Basically, we have a human being, right, like you, and we have another one which is your target. And basically, you want to force the other human being into giving him password by its own. And that's why and where Instagram cannot help, because this thing is not going through Instagram. Let's say if you manage to generate a fake page, this fake page will only look like an Instagram. It will have different IP address when hosted, and it's gonna be nothing with Instagram, just the visual looks of Instagram. So we have to trick our victim, our target, into giving his password and account by itself. So this is not that easy procedure against smart people and against people who are aware of security. Because if they know what's a phishing page, what's a fake page, and how to save against such attacks, Basically, if that guy is into security, you won't be able to success with such methods. But on the other hand, if the person are not that on security, or you have work and call him into bad day and so on, and you are really creative and stuff, you indeed can manipulate people into giving yourself their own password. And basically that's why social engineering is called the art of hacking people, because it really is. So the first step is to pick a target, of course. So we need someone to shoot our attack against. Therefore, we need to gather as much information as possible about that target. So immediately after we pick a target, we need to basically start and analyze everything we can about him. And not only in Instagram, basically the more information, the more opportunities for social engineering attacks. Because let's say if you only follow him to Instagram and you see like 5 or 6 photos there and you constantly see in the stories, you won't have much information about that guy, right? You're gonna know where it go if he posts on a story. You're gonna know basically where he lives maybe, and some basic stuff. But let's say you basically make a friendship with a Facebook, with that person, a Facebook friend. You become a Facebook friend. Now you have more information, right? Now you can see more pictures, you can see different stories if he posts different stories, you can see basically more information, more about his friends, because there can be followers that they do not exist, or they are just somewhere like 5,000 kilometers away. So basically now you're gonna start collecting more information, because people nowadays, and it was always like that, are tagging more in Facebook than in Instagram. So you can extract more information about where he was, when, with who. Then you can add or stalk the people who he was tagged in. So from there you can gather more information. Therefore you need to search for different social media. Let's say Twitter. Search for Twitter accounts with your target's name. If you follow on Twitter, on LinkedIn, better. You can find even more information. You can then, if you live nearby that person, you can start like asking someone for information. You can basically do any step you think is right for gathering information. You see, hacking is not all about sitting behind a PC and just smashing a keyboard. No, it's just hacking is all about logical thinking. So if you think you can gather information without adding to Facebook or so on, but by asking someone, go there and ask someone. You can use scripts for finding people. You can scripts like Discover to gather information about a person, and we can demonstrate that. So we are gathering as much information as possible, because this is really crucial against social engineering attack. Let's say you found something that you can use for social engineering attack, and there it comes the next step, which is the use of information. So now let's take, for example, you've collected anything about that guy. You've collected where he's going, with who, what car he has, what family he has, what do he likes, where's his favorite places, who are his favorite friends, who he's studying with, what he's studying with, where is he working, where, who is his colleagues, and so on. So you find a lot of information, and now it's time to use that information and build so-called attack vector or attack strategy. The attack vector is basically the way to approach into some attack, how to perform the attack, how to engage with the target. That's the point of attack vector. So now here we are using that information for creating attack vectors. So the attack vector can be sending a fake phishing page from his colleagues. Attack vector can be sending a picture for allocating his IP address from some of his followers. Attack vector can be sending fake phishing page from his family member or his cousin, or you can spoof basically anyone. So that's one pure example of sending fake pages, say building attack vectors. Like you have to enumerate everything about the people he's connected with. So you not should only who are they, let's say the colleagues and family members and friends and so on. You should know more about every single one of them in order to have more opportunities. So let's say you found his friends, you need to find their emails, not only their names, because if you know their names and not their email, you basically have a big chance of screwing everything up while going to spoof. But if you have their email names, you can spoof your email to be as likely as theirs. So let's say if their emails is John Cena, your one is gonna be John Sana, something like that. So it's pretty much theirs. And after that, he's gonna be less likely to click the link, to open the link, and to fill the credentials inside. So that's why social engineering is so crucial, and it depends on information, depends on creativity for building proper attack vectors, and depending on execution. So you need to execute and play your card right. And as you can see, the last step is just implementing the attack. So we got information, but by information I mean literally anything. Where, who, with who, their emails, their names, their connections. Okay, so their other accounts, so other social media, anything, other information. We just need anything about anyone connected with our target. And with that much information, of course, I forgot to say that you always need to save your information to database. So it can be file, it can be Google Drive document, it can be a real database like MySQL or PostgreSQL and so on. It can be basically anything, but you need to save your information because you cannot first remember anything about any target, and the second, it's always better when you're building an attack vector to open the database, see all the information inside and say, yeah, this is the best option I should go for, or yeah, this is not the correct option I should go for. So when the information is straight in front of you, it's always better and you are always more organized into building a proper attack vectors. So keep that in mind, always save the information to database before using the information for creating a attack vector. So pick a target, gather as much information, save it into database, and use the information and implement the attack. This is the procedure. And trust me, when you have the information, when you have database, it's always easier. It's always easier to build a attack vector. If this not work, to build another one, another one, another one, because you can, sure, you can remember anything, but let's say in a time lapse of 1 hour, you forget at least anything. So this is all about C that I need to discuss with you guys, about on theoretical level of course, and now let's move on into bug bounty. So bug bounty is the procedure of finding bugs and then lowers the Instagram, for example, we are talking about Instagram, and lowers the Instagram for the bug, so you are expecting some kind of a reward or bounty for your job. So this is what gray hackers do, gray hat hackers. They are first working as a black hat, they are hidden their IP address, they just scan for vulnerabilities, they enumerate anything, they find an exploit, they exploit it, but they do not cause any harm to the company, the application, the database, or anything whatsoever. So they do not cause any harm. If they find the vulnerability and try to exploit it, they just warn it and say, see, I did that and that and that by doing that. There can be a bug bounty if you only find vulnerabilities and say, hey, here, see that, because this can happen. So the first thing all gray hats do are just covering their IP address for their own security reasons, and therefore basically they start enumerating the application, browse the application, enumerate for vulnerabilities, what can occur, what cannot. They can put some scans, they can try to enumerate on the net infrastructure level. So they are building information database again. So they using that database, they basically manages to search for bugs. So they use that information for finding bugs. So after all the information possible is gathered, they look at the report in the database and see, I think there can be vulnerability or there, and just go there and try to basically prove that there can be vulnerability. So the bugs can be anything, not only security ones. So what I mean by that, the bug in the system can be not only security oriented. Like for example, before a week ago, I found a bug when you sent a video message and you did not wait basically the whole video to procedure and sent another one, the next video message will not be sent. Now, this is a perfect example of bug. You can just try it yourself. I don't know, there were a few updates for 1 week, like 2 updates I remember, and I think they fixed that. And we're gonna try that, so we're gonna see if that bug is still up. So basically, when you shoot and the max range of your phone, the max duration, and you immediately after that send another video message, the next video message is not sent. So this is a potential bug. This is a bug and the system is not should work that way. So that means there is one thread which is responsible for sending videos, and when that thread is uploading something and proceeding some video, you are not allowed to use any more threads for videos and so on. So we have one row of information. We have, when you upload video, this video is being instantly transmitted to Instagram servers, and from there to your target's DMs. So the server is the main, there are the users, and when you post a video message, is downloaded to the server and then forwarded to the target. So this is all caused by requests, it can be caused by threads and so on. So basically, when you upload something, the functionality responsible for taking your video to the server, if it's not finished, you are not allowed to post anything there. So by my opinion, this should be multi-threading. You should be able to post as much videos as you can. So this is an example of bug that is not security oriented. But the thing is that a normal bug can escalate into a security issue. So that's why we are seeking not only for vulnerabilities but for bugs, because bug can indeed escalate into a security issue. So let's say there's a bug in the chat messages. With the chat messages, any message you send is a post to the server. We are posting your string into the server. So we are posting information. And if a bug occurs, let's say, take for example in the chat messages, this can escalate into security issue. For example, we can try to bypass some security mechanism using the bug. So that's what bug bounties are doing. They are not seeking for vulnerabilities. They are seeking for anything they can see. They are seeking for bugs, they are seeking for vulnerabilities, for exploits, they are trying different stuff, and if they find anything, they say, see, here, I did that, and I did that, so pay me money. And that's the point of bug bounty hunting. So guys, this is today's video about hacking Instagram. I hope I was clear. These topics are really huge and I hope I did not miss anything. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to ask, but for now we're gonna get to the practical videos when we are going to extend that knowledge from here, demonstrate that knowledge from here, and try to hack some Instagram accounts. So the steps are clear, we understand what is supposed to be done, and pay attention that any action, any hacking, even if it's networking, even if it's web application hacking, even if it's social engineering hacking, it all, I mean all of them, depends on information. So when we're talking about hacking, not for Instagram, not for social engineering, when we're talking about penetration testing overall, it always depends on information. So no matter what engagement you have in, no matter what you're trying to hack, information is always the key. So guys, I really appreciate you for watching and see you in the next video.